You're on.
Okay, welcome. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Tonight's town board regular meeting, January 12th, 2023. With that, I'd like to ask you to please rise.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Visitors who wish to speak. Do we have any visitors at this point who would like to speak? Hearing none, we'll move right to the business. Jonah, minutes of the previous meeting.
Make a motion to approve November 10th and December 8th. And December 29th.
Mhm.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, report by elected officials and department heads. Town clerk, Mr. Ollis.
Okay. Our office will be submitting $4,943.23 to the office. In rounded amounts, it's $3,154 in recycling sales. That's both the center and the office. $1,200 in rental fees. That's 8 new community center reservations. $201 in dog licensing. We have 4 new residents and 27 renewals. And $556 in miscellaneous fees. That's $337 for vital statistics. And let's see, $50 from DEC on $1,211 in sales on mostly fishing licenses at this point, but some hunting licenses. Things are a little slower except for the random hunting and fishing licenses. But the community center, every other phone call. Somebody's inquiring
Okay.
about a date, and half the time it's too late. January, February, March, and most of April is
Wow,
booked already.
wow.
Yeah, it's seriously every other phone call. We used to think that every call was the court going to the wrong office. Now it's the community center. It's crazy.
Are we allowed that to be booked on Sundays?
Saturdays and Sundays.
I thought so. Just double check.
Oh, yeah. Some people have even gone as far as running it during the week, even though our rules are basically 6 o'clock, but they'll do an afternoon party. We had somebody that just signed up for that.
Yeah.
So, and we're getting quite a bit of usage though with the seniors. We have 3 seniors groups using it. And Cooperative Extension uses it occasionally. So it's well used.
What was the thought on 6 o'clock? I had forgotten about that.
I'm not,
Gary doesn't want to clean it that late, or
no, he doesn't.
doesn't want to go there at 9 o'clock, or what's the problem?
You're right.
I'm not sure. So since I started working here, it's always been there. So
What do you think? I mean, if they'll go close it at 9, why not?
For at least 8 o'clock.
Right.
At least 8. Reasonable.
you might be able to get a little bit more during the week if you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then again, during the week, it's a little bit tricky because it is used a lot, like seniors and in the summer, the ball clubs. It's nights by the ball clubs in the summer.
So you're saying it shuts down at 6 o'clock on Saturday or Sunday, right?
Well, that's pretty normal, and that works out well because people's parties usually start around noon or 1 o'clock.
Right.
So they get there, they let for 10, they set up, and they're done by 4 o'clock. It's mostly baby showers and wedding showers.
I don't know, maybe you all can kick it around and see.
Yeah.
Re-examine all those hours.
Sure.
You know?
Let's see why not.
Go ahead and do that.
Okay.
All right, Bill?
Sure.
Okay, motion to approve town clerk report.
I'll make it.
Have a second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Highway Department, Mr. Bailey. How are you, Michael?
How you doing today, Ted?
Good,
Good. Are you doing good?
I think so. I think I'm doing okay. My crew takes good care of me. It seems like I've been through a few snowstorms already. They do a nice job. They work hard. The new guys hold it really good. The old guys are old games at it. Kevin does a real nice job handling the crew. We've had 3 storms so far. Nothing major, but it's nice to see it work, see how well it works.
Might have to send you to Buffalo for training, but.
My son just came back from there, he said that there's no snow out there, so I'll go. They So we had some snow and that, but it's worked out well. We've been lucky the weather's been good. I'll get to my report here and then go through this. We did some long on mowing over the guardrails. We had one guy doing that for 2 days. 5 men for 7 days cutting brush. And we had a couple of guys out with the bucket truck putting up military banners for 2 days. 2 days with the crew patching, cleaning ditches. We had quite a bit of ditch cleaning from the rain event. We had 4 men for 10 days doing all that. On odd jobs, we had 3 men for 3 days doing signs for the park, little things around the shop. And, we had a bunch of shop work after the storm, after you get done with the storm, cleaning trucks, washing them, putting them back together, fixing this book. It usually takes a couple days after each snow event. Christmas tree pickup, and so far we've had 2 different crews, 4 men for 5 days picking that up. It seems like that's coming along pretty good. We started picking up the papers along Route 7 with a couple of guys that have been working at that for a couple of days. Seems like we're finally making a little headway. There's a lot of cups in that ditch. And, we helped Mr. Bradley one day with the water main break. There's not a total of 9 days snow plowing in the last month. There's a couple days for each event. And we hauled sand, replenishing our supply for 3 days with a couple men and 1 guy next and 2 guys home. And, we send down the crew after the storms when the snow's melting away with a couple guys in trucks just looking for ice spots and sanding them. So just kind of quiet and trying to catch up on all a little bit.
Good.
Any questions?
Entertain a motion to approve. Mr. Bailey,
I'll make this motion.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye, Michael.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Water Department, Mr. Brandon.
Where's my plus?
David?
Hey, hang on 1 sec. Wait a minute, did you turn off the switch?
No.
Yes, you did. Okay, thank you.
All right, let's start all over.
Mike, you gotta do that all over again.
He didn't hear you.
No, I didn't.
He turned his off. So. You've been tuned out now, okay? So, there.
We got you, Bill.
All right. We got the
Bill, we have.
water and sewer report for December 2022. Long time ago, so now 2023, it's amazing. Halfway through the month for it. So we completed our water testing for the month. Just as a note to everyone, the city of Troy did raise their water rates by 40 cents, which is 11% increase, because our costs have gone up in materials and that we buy for the past 2 years, about 30 to 40%. You know, we have to follow suit in this. We can't handle these costs, so we're going to raise our rates 11% also, which brings our rate from $5 per 1,000 gallons of water to $5.55 per 1,000 gallons of water. That'll hit the August bill, just so that if anybody's listening, it's not going to impact the February bill that goes out, it will impact the August bill. So, fact of life right at the moment, costs are going up for everybody. Now, I don't really want to go into this because I'm a little afraid of it, but it's been very mild.
We turn this off
Yeah,
again.
it's been very mild, and we haven't had one water break and one service. I may just jinx myself by saying that here tonight. So things have been quiet. Our main focus has been to get these radio read meters out there. We have 750 of them installed right now, which is about 25% of the total. You guys have been working very hard to get them into those places that have always been difficult to read, doing like lock gates, dogs, different reasons why it's difficult to get to the meters. So we're focusing, before we're kind of focusing on traffic issues, getting in and out, trucks backing on highways and stuff like that. Now we're focusing on trying to get to some of the problem spots, and then we'll just go area by area as we can, and do these meters. And there's, we've seen some benefits from doing this already, being able to track leaks and stuff, so, we'll just keep pursuing that. And that's it for this evening, unless anybody else has a question.
Did things end up settling out with our THN testing?
Well, here's, this is what happens, okay? So what the THNs are driven by temperature, chlorine, dissolved organics in the water. This time of year, they all go down. So your THNs naturally follow that down. If you're looking at it's a long-term running, it's a yearly, long-term running annual average is how they describe this. So if I look out to July, when the next our quarterly sampling that takes place in July, we're liable to have another violation. I don't see how the trends that we can get down low enough not to have that. Right now, we're low. Last fall, very low.
Bill mentioned we buy the water from the city of Troy, and it goes through a big master meter, which the minute water flows through that, we pay for whatever comes through. So now it's our responsibility on our side. And what we have found over the years is some of the homeowners have bypassed our meters in their homes. Now you're starting to, my understanding, somebody sells a house, so we.
Yes, if we are now inspecting inside the home before they used to run just taking a meter reading, we're inspecting the home to determine whether or not they have two things. One is, have they tapped in underneath the water meter? Make sure that we get an accurate meter reading off the meter itself. That's three, actually, and check to see that their sump pumps are not connected to the sewer system.
My next question is, when we check them and then we get the meter back online, when we go back in there again, if we do or we should, and they're bypassed again, there should be a penalty here?
We have,
Something.
we do have within our laws the ability to levy a substantial fine for taking water without going through the meter. And right now, we are not actively enforcing that because there's a multitude of reasons. Because people claim, well, it was a previous owner, I didn't use it. So there's a lot of back and forth in that arrangement. They need to disconnect before the closing. But to your point, there should be a way to go back and inspect these things in 5 years or whatever it is. And if there's another tap, we certainly should enforce this. And we're going to get a little bit better handle on this right now for the fact that as part of the lead and copper service line inspections, we have to inspect every single service in town in the next 2 years. So that will help in this situation.
I mean, if somebody does bypass it and then all of a sudden decides to hook it in their sprinkler system, I mean, you're talking some water. Or filling their swimming pool.
Yeah. There's the scenarios that we see out there, I think are people filling their pools. I think there's people that have legitimately, literally bypassed using like a washing machine hose, the bypass meter, wholly. If we want to start enforcing in a uniform way our codes, then yes, we should do that.
We want to mention that.
Yeah, no, it's running 15% of the service connections people are taking more. And unfortunately, I think when the price goes up, then it encourages more people.
That's what back in my mind.
Yeah, the only way, one of the things that's in the back of my mind is any new development, any new, you put an outside meter pit. It's an additional cost for the developer, but the reality is then they can't create a bypass situation.
That's the concept.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Then motion to approve Mr. Bradley's report.
I'll make it.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Golden, General Utilities and Discussion.
Good evening, gentlemen. Happy 2023. This is the December 2022 report from the building department. We had 116 building and property inspected, 323 active building permits, 14 permits issued or renewed, 10 meetings, 2 planning board meetings, 1 building board meeting, 0 court cases, 25 fire inspections, 9 follow-up complaints, follow-up code complaint inspections, 4 code call-outs with their inspections, 6 code complaints, 5 code complaint inspections, as well as vacant abandoned property inspections. We have 0 vacant abandoned properties identified, 3 planning board projects, 3 zoning board projects, 5 FOIL request searches, and Wendy included the year-end numbers, and I have some more Bill additional. Our year-end money is taken in for the planning, zoning, permits, FOILs, and vacant property registration fees total $134,036.15. I'll just do my year-over-year quickly. On the commercial side, there were 4 housing starts, 4 commercial business starts in 2022, and an equal number in 2021. The difference being the monetary values. In 2021, the total for the 4 valuation were $3,333,000, with $19,115 collected in the for the permit fees. And in 2022, again, the number 4 starts, the commercial starts, but $8,473,000, $804,473,600, with the valuation or that was valuation mark with the fee amount being $48,493. So we're factor of 2 difference. And it being the style of buildings, this 2022 was pretty much it had the Hannaford in there and Albans. So those are the 2 different there. On the residential side, in 2022, we had 15 new housing starts. So the increase of the interest rate didn't seem to have much of a bearing here in the town of Brunswick. Whereas, I'll go over the valuation of that. For the 15 new housing starts, it was $5,554,601 with permit fees of $7,637.50. Whereas in 2021, we only had 5 new housing starts with a value of $1.55 million, with $3,237 in the permit fees. So, still going strong. I don't see where the economy is slowing down for slowing rebuilding here down in the town of Brunswick. For Wendy's, the expected opening this month should be January. All these, it's going to be February, maybe later. Supply chain difficulties with the tile floor.
People are asking about all these.
Yep, they finally got the 3-phase in. You can see when you go by, all the lights are lit. So 3 phases in. Well, Wendy's got their 3-phase installed yesterday. So I know the kitchen stuff is showing up well for Wendy's, and then expect a later in the month open.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Gentlemen, motion for Mr. Golden's report.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town attorney, Mr. Chaffee.
Yeah, on December 29th, I attended and participated in the year-end special town board meeting. I also prepared the resolutions that were acted upon at that meeting and the special meeting notice. I attended and participated in the 2023 organizational meeting of the town board, which was held on January 3, 2023. We also prepared the numerous resolutions that were acted upon at that meeting and the special meeting notice. Prepared the resolution which is on the agenda for tonight's meeting. I also prepared the public hearing notice regarding the public hearing on introductory local law number 8, the year 2022, which was held earlier this evening, and participated in the public hearing on that local law. That local law would repeal the moratorium on 2-family and multi-family dwellings, which is currently in effect. They also assisted in the preparation of the introductory local law number 8 of the year 2022. I attended and participated in meetings with staff and outside counsel on various matters at town office on December 19, December 20, and December 21 of 2022, and on January 4, January 5, January 9 and January 11 of 2023. I've been working with the highway superintendent on some personnel matters. I worked on a personnel issue involving the building department, the supervisor's office on a purchasing issue. Worked with the building department regarding some outstanding code violations and complaints and other outstanding matters involving the department. Been involved in internal discussions regarding issues pertaining to large-scale solar projects in the town and matters to be pursued within the recently enacted moratorium on such projects. As always, I perform legal research, provide legal opinions, and review or prepare legal documents as requested by various town officials and employees.
Another very busy month
That's been busy.
for a town attorney.
Make a
Entertainment,
motion for him.
Lori?
Yep.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Town historian, Tracy,
Good evening.
how are you?
Short and sweet as usual. I've started to do some research on, it's called the Ensigns Grove, which was once located on the town office road where Misty Hills used to be. There's still the old house up there that I just recently drive by it every day. And I'm like, oh my God, it's still there. And by pulling out some old pictures and some old information, I finally put two and two together because I thought at one time this place was located on Route 7. Well, it's right over on town office road. So it used to be a gathering place. They used to have church meetings and Sunday school picnics and clam scenes and whatnot. And it was quite the little place back in the early 1900s. So started to do some research on that. I'm also continuing to work on the historian's page for the website. I now have special access to the New York State Library online database and newspaper system because they allowed certain things like that for the town historian. So still trying to figure out the web page. So I'm still navigating on that. So it's been interesting. I've been doing a lot of research online with different websites and whatnot. So I've been busy.
Excellent.
Any questions?
History of Brooklyn.
That's right.
Sounds like fun stuff.
Yeah, it is.
It
It is.
is.
Good for you all time.
Entertain a motion for Tracy's report.
I'll make it. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Hanster, recycling coordinator. How are you, Thomas? Good evening.
Good evening, fine. Recycling report for December. Our blue bags purchased at the center, we had 405 at $3 for $1,215. Blue bags purchased from vendors, 465 at $1,185. Our purple bags purchased at the center, 131 at $2 for $262. Our auto batteries, we did 0.39 tons at 15 cents a pound for $117. And light iron and tin, 1.31 tons at 135 and 156 gross ton for $168. That gave us revenues of $3,333. The general expenses, our refuse landfill was 14.43 tons at $69.75 a ton for $1,411. Our mixed single stream was 12.42 tons at $50 a ton for $621. And our bale corrugated was 2.75 tons at $7 a ton for $19. And that gave us expenses of $2,052. The total amount recycled in landfill for December was 34.95 tons. The total amount recycled in landfill for 2022 was 130 tons, of which we took out more recyclables than we did refuse. The recyclables were 228 tons, and the refuse was 202 tons. So we squeaked by in our liquid recycling. That's it.
Entertain a motion for Tom's report.
Yes.
Yep, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sarah, Brunswick Community Library.
Sarah's all ready to go.
I know, I got Keep saying it, I gotta change it, I get it around a little quicker.
That's okay.
All right.
So for December, we answered 327 reference questions. We had 1,547 visitors, 163 unique Wi-Fi users, an average of 21 people per day. Our technology was used 123 times. Our study spaces were used 165 times. And we handed out 101 COVID tests. We checked out 5,792 books, and our programs were attended 359 times. December is a little slower than the rest of our months just because our families are really busy. But we did do some sun catcher classes and card-making classes along with our regular community offerings. And I do want to mention that in January, we have a children's clothing swap coming up. So if anybody has children in their lives, please swing by. People can start donating clothes next week, and then the following Monday and Tuesday is when the actual swap will happen. Everybody is welcome to take clothes for free. Last time we did it, we had about 60 families come, and we had some really, really nice clothes. So if you know anybody with children, it's for ages 0 to about 10, babies through elementary. So,
Thank you.
any questions?
Any questions?
Harry?
Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, Harry?
Understand a motion for the library?
I don't have the exact numbers, but I believe well. I just don't want to give an exact number because I don't have it yet.
What's the donation for the clothing, Susanna?
What's the what?
What was the date of the donation or when you're gonna start?
For
Accepting
clothing, we accept clothes starting next week. And then the actual days that people can start to take clothes home will be the following Monday and Tuesday.
Any day next week?
Any day next week, yeah, we'll accept clothing donations that entire week. And then people can also bring clothes the day of the actual swap if that's more convenient for them. But yeah, we're happy for all donations, baby through elementary age.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sarah. Understand a motion for the library report?
I'll make it. I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Resolution?
Yep. Mhm. Actually, I only have one tonight. This is resolution number 22 of 2023. This is resolution adopting Town of Brunswick local law number 1 of the year 2023. Now, that was introduced as local law number 8 of 2022, but it's the first one for 2023 being adopted.
Okay. Second.
Resolution was offered by Councilman Christian, seconded by Councilman Sullivan. Roll call vote, Councilman Sipperly,
Aye.
Councilman Christian.
Aye.
Councilman Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilman Balistrary.
Aye.
Supervisor Herring.
Aye.
Resolution is adopted. That's the only resolution.
Any correspondence, Bill?
Yeah, got a few here.
Good.
See if I can dig into them. Okay, it seems like the highway department's in pretty good shape here, according to our
Wow.
residents, yeah.
You didn't write these, did you?
Yeah, okay.
did.
Listen up there, Mike.
Pay attention.
Okay, first, Town of Brunswick Highway Department. We appreciate the excellent work done to remove the tree down by the road. That was from Barb and Ed Casey. They were on, which road was that? Lansing Road. Yep. So thank you very much for getting the tree out of the road. Okay, this is dated January 2nd. On December 16th, I had a medical emergency that required an ambulance to be called. It was 6 a.m. in the morning, and our driveway is long and steep, and it was slippery. The ambulance made it up, was unable to turn around. They were going to have to back down. The EMT that came first called the town for a truck to sand the driveway. To make a long story short, the Brunswick Town truck came and salted and sanded the driveway. Thanks a bunch to your highway department for helping to get me to the hospital safely. This was from Nick Bragan, 191 White Church Road.
Very good.
Nice job, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a quick Facebook message on January 5th. And let's see. Thank you for cleaning up the culvert areas on Dixon Drive. See, from Mike Hipwell. Yep. So, culverts on Dixon Drive. Nice job, Mike.
Where was that located, Bill?
Dixon Drive.
Okay. Excellent.
That's it.
Very good. Gentlemen, is there any old business?
Nope.
Any new business? Mr. Sibley's been working on the trail system down there, right, Mark?
Yeah, we're in the home stretch. Mike's crew's got the sign erected, we're gonna have maps in them shortly.
That's gonna be such a beautiful addition to the town of Brunswick, going walking trail.
Come together very nicely, lots of help from Mr. Bradley's department, private citizenry, right from the get-go. Jesse Hoffman, so that he was pushed to begin with, and it's all coming together.
Excellent, excellent. Anybody else? All right, we're down to the warrants. Gentlemen,
Second.
all in favor? All right, any further comments? Any visitors wish to speak? Lana? For you, Jim?
Happy New Year all.
Thank you.
Jim Zaczek, 387 Brunswick Road. Now that all the political campaigns are over, has anybody clarified the stance on political activities at the community center? Remember the hullabaloo over this? There was people who were.
Had any request or anything?
Oh, it was sure, because if I remember correctly, one of the candidates applied for something in the past, who refused this because it was a political event.
Yeah, I was not even aware of that, and I didn't really believe that. But then I hear a person, deputy town clerk, who left, took a phone call, and she said no, which I wasn't not aware
Well,
of.
if
That's why now.
if there's no policy, then that's fine. It was curious because it was presented as somebody was refused permission to use the facilities because of that. You know?
Yeah,
So there's no restrictions on political events.
I don't plan on, I guess we can look at that.
Well, I thought we discussed it at that one meeting last year when it came up. And we talked about not having them.
Right.
At all.
Right, and I had a person call, not looking for it, but was talking about where they could go in Brunswick, and I mentioned the Elks. I mean, I don't think we're gonna do it, but I want to keep it on order.
Well, the town board always has the option of doing a written policy on this.
Yeah.
There's bits and pieces of different things. There's some things in the town code about the community center. And there are some things which, probably shouldn't be done there. But I think as a general rule, the town board can make rules if they decide to go in that direction. They can make rules. I think, it has to be open to everybody equally, or
Right.
they can choose, obviously. And, so it's up to the board if you want to do a policy on it. I mean, we've had a lot of we've had other policies at the community center. Like, for example, we've had a lot of people who want to go in there and basically use the space and even pay the fee, but give lessons for money.
Right,
things
for
like
profit,
that.
for profit.
Right,
Bill,
actually try to earn money from it, and
Yeah.
we haven't allowed that. That's one thing, but, the town board could work on an overall policy, but, for that, I could certainly help draft it, but somebody has to tell me what the parameters are.
Okay, well, I guess that's what the town board's, that's their job. Well, if there's a clarification there, because there was certainly a lot of discussion about this, maybe in October.
Yeah, and there was a meeting that we talked about it, and everybody on both sides kind of said, let's not do anything.
And that's what I conveyed to the town clerk, and that's been Bill's policy here.
Right.
I mean, we haven't allowed it, and we got something formal.
No,
Well,
we
if it's
don't
not
really.
formal, it's not there.
What's that?
If it's not formal, it's not in place, as far as I'm concerned. Because then it's ad hoc, flexible, we'll do it for you, but not for you.
Bill, is there already the paperwork when somebody rents down there? They have paperwork already.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Are there any rules on
the
that?
rules and
paperwork?
regulations are just on how to take care of the place, and you're responsible for your,
Right, so we could just
Residents.
add a rule on there that we don't allow political functions there.
You
You've already got it
probably
in
could,
place, right?
but, you know, that sounds like it should be
Again,
something,
it should be
a
done.
resolution.
When you
of
do a
some sort.
policy, it should be drawn carefully. You have to
Yeah.
define what's a political function and, things like that. So, it's not something you want to do haphazardly. If you want to do that, that's certainly something that can be done. And, like I said, there should be some discussion about what the parameters are, and then it can be put in the right.
No, I agree. Okay.
Do you have a preference? Okay.
Well, I was just, wanted to see a clarification of this, because there was obviously,
So you don't care either way?
no, I'm neither a Democrat nor Republican. Politics.
That's not an answer to the question. Go ahead.
Well, no, I just think if, it seemed like it was a clear-cut case of somebody was being refused, one of the political candidates.
You're
was
still avoiding
refused.
the question. You're still avoiding the question.
No, the question, well, I don't want to see that situation,
Okay.
where one is favored over another.
None of them. And when that one person wanted to use it, as you mentioned, who was Republican, I quickly called the Democrat chairman for the election, and I said, I want to offer it to your candidate. So, but I was not aware, when I heard it was refused a year ago, 2 years ago, I was not aware. And then I talked to a former person, she said, well, they called, and I said, no, because I didn't think we allowed them. But when as I mentioned, when I allowed that, because, sometimes it's an informational thing, somebody's in office, I mean, everything's politics. People come with different programs and funds or grants and all this stuff. But what I did that day was, the minute I hung up, I called the Democrat chairman and said, listen, this guy's coming, I know it's election time, your candidate is more than welcome. And they did call, but it was booked, they wanted it like the next night or something like that, and then they went to help. So I agree with you, I don't want to favor either party either, it's not right.
But to answer your question, I'd have no qualms about having, out of election season, I think we'd have informational meetings like, when Representative Gillibrand came to the Elks Club once or
Right.
twice, and I went there, I thought it was very interesting. To see
And
that,
that's
as
where I
opposed
get,
to campaign,
Right,
situation.
That's why it has to be, that's why if you're gonna do a formal policy, it has to be drafted carefully.
and that's where I get caught, Jim, because, I see, she's running again, and I did go to that, it was very informational, Jill Grant, nobody else. And if somebody like that is a, congressman, senator, whoever calls with informational, and for the town of Brunswick, I feel like, I like the people to hear it, but then all of a sudden I get, is it politics and it's not, so that's what you're saying, you gotta be
Right,
careful.
I mean, if you get public information meetings, you're normally not gonna have signs and banners
Right.
and things like that.
I agree.
So you're kind of thinking if it's, and then you're walking that line. but, Because some people complain about the Elks, the charge or whatever,
Well, the Elks Club's a private club, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I even think we held a debate down there one time between two candidates.
That-
So that would be something that you might want to look at too, right?
Well,
Yeah, I don't-
That's not bad, because it doesn't favor either
What's that?
party. A debate's a debate, that's not favoring anybody. It's actually, that's very informational.
Right.
But maybe this isn't a place to talk about. Are there caucuses still taking place there?
I don't think so.
Because for 1 year, I mean.
There hasn't been a caucus there.
There was a request that the,
I do remember Kathy requesting use of it.
Right.
and they were there, because I remember I went to
Yeah.
So it was done for that. Now that's arguably, that's sort of like an election. But, so I think there needs to be discussion on it. I don't want to get to the position where you spend a lot of time writing something up, and then when it gets done, you hand it out, and everybody says, well, I don't like it. So let's talk about it before.
Okay.
I mean, that's, you guys can do that. I also want to heap praise upon Mike and his group. In the past, probably like 14 months, Shine Road, Gordy had a hand in this, you had a hand in this, bringing the Jersey barriers down and putting them up at the bottom of that,
National
like
Grid.
that ravine, because, and then it's prevented the ATV people from going up and down there, so that's minimalized that. And then between the paving and the gravel on the sides and the clearing out of the drains and things like that, it's been a big help. So I second the
Good.
accolades here. Okay, thanks.
Another good job. Thank you, sir. Any other visitors who wish to speak?
Louis Hugger, 608 White Church Road. Good evening, two speakers. One question, ever since they replaced the bridge on Route 2, over Posting Hill, we get different speed limits both ways. So is the state ever gonna equalize them
Say that again, Wilson.
I didn't get either.
between Stickaway and Eagle Mills? Westbound is one speed limit on Route 2, eastbound's another. And a lot of people say, well, it used to be 55, get out of my way. Can we ask the state to figure it out?
They are, I thought.
There was a petition that went up to make it all one speed, but you're talking about just on the bridge?
Yeah,
You're saying
between
it's-
Eagle Mills and.
You mean the
and,
signs are different on each side of the road?
You never take that route? Well, you don't look at the speed limit.
I do,
We only
but-
drive 30.
I do, but I never noticed it.
Yeah, I never noticed it.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
true.
I'm not supposed to look at the sign, but no, it is,
In what stretch?
the flats where they replaced the bridge.
Yep.
Posting Hill.
That's true.
When the bridge was being worked on, basically, coming from Country Club, they took down that 55 sign and made that 40 because of the bridge work.
Okay.
From there to the bridge work, and they never put the 55 back up.
Oh,
Now, the other one down by Engels, the 55
that
sign.
might be a good thing.
That's right, well, the 55 sign never came down. They put a
Oh.
40 sign sort of like in front of Buzz's house.
You use the last speed limit
okay.
sign you see, right? That's the law.
What's that?
You use the last speed limit sign you see.
The state did all that.
Yeah.
But they are looking into making that, they've had a petition, somebody's been sending.
We got a letter on.
But it's okay if I say, Lewis brought it to our attention, let's take the 40 down and put 55 back up. So get ready for that. So,
Well, it should be the same both ways. 7 from
I'd be
maybe
saying,
Angle, 40 or whatever.
we've been trying to get that over for years. I didn't do it, see.
But,
Okay.
Nice citizen who likes to send things into your website. Before the Eagle Mills Bridge light was out, lights about to go
I
on.
know.
It's been a month. Still out. Oh, longer now, okay.
Is
You
it
must
fixed
report
then?
it also.
Mike?
I turned in a complaint too.
Oh, yeah.
So did I.
So did I.
Yeah, you're nearby, but, yeah.
I think Mike's got something.
Mike,
Our propane and the bulb, but it's a little more involved in that, and I have to call in the Mac electric to fix the light.
Like, go.
There's a sensor or something on.
Well, that's a public photo sense one,
Yeah.
They get dirty and.
But I'm aware of it, if it did get involved in place to go with it.
let me put Tracy on the spot. Take your historian hat off and just step up here again for a minute.
Uh-oh.
What we've done before is we contacted Mackey to look
Yes.
at those lights, right? And he's done some rewiring.
On a few, not all.
And that was a year ago, 2 years ago or something.
Right.
They were good for a while and then they went, now we have a problem with one
Yes.
issue. Okay. So we're aware of it.
Oh, we were, yeah, because I had told Mike about it, and Mike called Mackie, and it's just trying to, prioritize things
I know.
to, yes.
So what we did was we asked Mike to go down and see if it's just a bulb and it's not a smart company. So we're aware of it.
Yes,
That had.
And that was the same thing that happened before, it was a little bit more than the bulb, and that had to come out.
Yep.
And when you're dealing with Route 2, sometimes you have to have more people with you for traffic in it, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, that's a good thing, so.
Hopefully the sensor's not backordered or something.
Well, you just don't know.
Sounds like we got troublesome lights on that page.
Yeah.
Just to bring up an old thing. Everybody doesn't like the crowding on Route 7. We're the problem. We all build new houses, we want two-family houses, now we're just gonna make it worse. But Councilman Christensen, you said, people are complaining, anybody have any ideas? And nobody said anything. And I didn't get up that day, it was too late. They're complaining about people flying through the neighborhood, going over, taking the back way to Hannaford. One thing that can be done is cut Duncan Lane. Access only from Lord Avenue. And then that cuts down all the people. Some people may not like it, be careful what you ask for.
You can't shut down a road
Why not?
because it's against the law.
Is it our road?
You can't go and shut down a public road.
Don't you set all the roads you want? It's not shutting down the road, it's accessing it from Lord Avenue only. That eliminates.
Making it a one-way, you're saying?
Or make it a dead-end road. Instead of a good road. You have some ideas, there's a cheap thing that you like it, whatever.
Yep.
And, I got a thing here, I was gonna give to you, the state, when they paid that too, they didn't do Brunswick a good job. In Eagle Mills, every catch basin got bumped in the road, some of them quite large. They didn't do good transitions to our roads and our driveways. And, if one person says something, you're complaining. If the town says something to the town, I mean, we should have a better road, and we, since it's all done, state's not gonna do anything for 20 years. Next time they overlay Route 2. And I don't think we should have to put up with the road the way they did. They didn't do
Saying
it.
catch basins aren't done correctly?
You drive on Route 2 to Eagle Mills, at every drainage inlet, and there's a lot of them, there's about 20 of them. There's bump in the pavement. A couple of them are so bad, they rock the whole vehicle. Usually the state gets done with the road, and they do a much better job than we do on our roads. And I don't know what they did, but if the town says something, that means that everybody is unhappy with what they gave us. One person says something, it's complaining.
Okay.
But, I do this too, I wrote up something that
Sorry.
I have a problem. I can't complain because I'm also a government employee. It's like, town employees can't come up here and say stuff to you. It's a conflict of
Oh,
interest.
yeah, they do.
They're not supposed to. They get somebody else to do it for them. I put on the bottom, I put a website down there. It's the state website. There's a click on there to submit like our websites, because if you go to the residency, they're taking a home. They're not much for bringing the problems back to the people that fund the work. And,
Okay.
I will say the new highway superintendent did a fantastic one, except for 3 days. I've never seen so little snow on our roads.
Very good job there. Huh? Don't say anything. Thank you. Anybody else at this point? Come on up, young lady. Can I have your name and address, please?
Rebecca Douglas, 22 Osceola. As a follow-up to him, I do live in Stickaway, and since Michael and his crew have put up the signs and no traffic, or Western Catholic, the stop signs have reflectors and different things. I have recently installed a ring camera, and the traffic, I don't have an issue. Not anymore. The only issue is overnight, the trucks, it's just the trucks that are doing business at the creamery. They're not Hannaford trucks. But it's overnight. I'm not outside.
They still go through your
Oh,
area?
yeah, 18-wheelers, oh, yeah, all the time. But the traffic that the gentleman prior mentioned is not really like it was. I often wonder if the Fair Park renovations that they were doing on the roads there had some impact in our neighborhood, and why wouldn't they, But it's gotten a lot better. I feel safer being out in my neighborhood, which I'm very thankful for.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I don't, and also as a reminder, with the traffic issues that he's mentioned a few times now, they did a traffic study, and on January 25th, you'll be having your first committee meeting to discuss the solutions.
Which would be a representative from that area on,
Right,
and from
in
the other side also.
Sickaway, and, right, so there is movement in that, so hopefully they'll be discussing solutions. Just wanted to put that out there.
This is interesting. So there's still trailer trucks going through the middle
Oh,
of White Creamery.
Yeah, it's a derelict.
Michael, can you talk to Mr. Duncan? I mean, I guess I can. We got a big road area by here.
So you get right down Lord Avenue, there's a traffic going on.
We have it right down Lord Avenue.
To that.
It's never Hannaford.
No.
It's only, because you can tell where they go, and they turn around and
Mr.
they're back
Duncan-
out within 10 minutes.
Mr. Duncan has mentioned to me that there's more traffic going over that road next to his house, and he does not like the traffic. And I
Sure.
mentioned, well, you sold that property to Hannaford. So there's more traffic, but,
I'm one of the people that go the back way, why not?
yeah.
It's there.
And I've had quite a few people over in that area, off of North Lake, especially the older people, saying, I know, it's better for me to go through that neighborhood and be careful and use that Dunkin' than go out on Route 7 and all that stuff. So, but I think they're probably shopping once a month or something,
Yeah, there's not much going on that.
But I hate to see
Hannaford.
Sickaway Creamery's trailer trucks going through, delivery trucks. I mean, that shouldn't go through there at all anyway.
Last week, actually, Mr. Duncan stopped by my office and talked to me after talking to Bill. And he has a couple of proposals he'd like to talk to you about concerning that road because the traffic's running by his house someplace. So he is open to whatever the board is looking for.
But tell them the first thing we're looking for is to stop the trailer trucks in the middle of the night and ask. I mean, I can talk to them too.
There's no trucks in the neighborhood.
It's posted, no trucks, isn't it?
There's signs.
I thought there were signs up,
There are signs
no
up.
trucks.
I put some turn signs because the cars were actually pulling right out into the field. And he asked me to put a couple signs up.
I mean, on the entrance to the neighborhood.
There's a no truck sign on the entrance on Genesee and North Lake, right across from Freer Park, but the trucks don't go that way because of Freer Park, you can't go through. And there's one on Montego, but it's a little off to the side. It would probably be a little more helpful if it was on the other side of the stop sign, because that's usually where they're coming in from the south, but they are there. Also, just for a public notice, the garbage bags have changed. We have a new vendor, and now they're coming in rolls of 10. You can still buy them in 5s or singles, that's perfectly fine. They're a little bit better quality, would you agree?
I agree.
Right. So that's something new, that you can still buy them in 5s, singles, whatever, but they come in 10s. And then we were discussing the beach pass at the recycle center. We might need to work on proof of residency for using our recycle facility since it's costing us so much.
Yeah. We're talking, thank you. We have beach passes, but we're short of Brunswick residents. Where we get a lot of pressure is this brush. A lot of people bring brush in, which is fine if they live in the town of Brunswick. But it's cost us almost $50,000 this year to have the brush ground and removed. So there's some talks about maybe having recycling stickers passes, so we can maybe get a handle on who's coming in. So it's something for the board to think about also. So. Okay? Anybody else at this point? If not,
Motion to adjourn.
second,
I got it.
all in favor?
All right.
Thank you.
How's the garage work going? A little quieter? For a while, there was just a week or two.
Oh.
The garage was packed.